The announcement came at Sunday dinner. My brother Marcus stood at the head of the table, iPad in hand, grinning like he'd just solved world hunger. Behind him, my parents beamed with that particular brand of parental pride reserved for the golden child who could do no wrong. "I've taken care of your little problem," Marcus said, turning the screen toward me. 6 Zillow listings. 6 addresses I knew by heart. My properties. Listed at prices that made my stomach drop. Deliberately undervalued to move fast. Total asking price, $2.1 million. They'll be gone by month's end. My mother clapped her hands together. Finally. Someone with business sense stepping in. My father nodded, already pulling out his phone calculator. If we split it 6 ways, that's $350,000 each. I've been looking at that boat. My sister Emma leaned over Marcus's shoulder. The commission alone will cover my credit card debt. I sat there, fork suspended over lukewarm mashed potatoes, watching my family divide money they didn't have from properties they didn't own. The dining room suddenly felt small, the walls pressing in with that familiar childhood sensation of being fundamentally misunderstood. "Marcus," I said quietly, "those properties aren't for sale." He waved dismissively. "Someone has to make the adult decisions here. You've been playing real estate investor for 7 years, barely breaking even. It's time to cut losses and move on with your life." The gambler's fallacy applies to more than casinos. I'd spent 7 years feeding the slot machine of family approval, convinced that the next achievement would finally pay out validation. Property 1, lucky beginner's luck. Property 2, you'll lose it in the divorce. By property 6, they'd stopped pretending to listen when I talked about cap rates and equity accumulation. What they didn't know, what they'd never bothered to ask, was that those 6 disasters generated $11,400 in monthly rental income. After mortgages, taxes, insurance and maintenance reserves, I cleared $4,200 monthly. $50,000 annually in passive income from properties that had appreciated $680,000 in total equity since purchase. But I'd learned years ago that explaining success to people invested in your failure is like describing color to someone who insists the world is grayscale. "The listings go live tomorrow," Marcus announced. "First showings are Tuesday. I've already hired a realtor, Sharon from my gym. She's giving us a discount on commission since it's family." Tuesday morning arrived with Michigan's particular breed of February cold, the kind that makes car doors stick and breath crystallize mid-exhale. I was reviewing tenant lease renewals when my phone began vibrating. Not one call. 6. Simultaneous. Property 1 Riverside Duplex. "Miss Chen, there's a woman with a realtor lockbox trying to enter my unit. I didn't authorize any showing." Property 2 Oakmont Townhouse. "Someone's in the backyard taking photos. Should I call the police?" Property 3 Heritage Street Fourplex. "There are 8 people walking through the building. No one contacted me. This is trespassing." Property 4 Maple Grove Condo. "Your brother just told a couple they could see the unit whenever they want. I work nights. I was sleeping." Property 5 Lakeside Bungalow. "Police are here. Someone reported unauthorized entry. Do you know anything about this?" Property 6 Downtown Loft. "I'm an attorney, Ms. Chen. What's happening right now constitutes criminal trespass. I'm documenting everything." I pulled up Zillow on my laptop. There they were. 6 listings. Professional photos. Marcus must have hired a photographer, spent money on this scheme. Each listing described motivated seller, price to move, investor opportunity. Each listing showed occupied properties as vacant. I called my property attorney, David Park, who I'd kept on retainer since Property 2. His voice was sharp, alert despite the early hour. "Don't go to any of the properties yourself. Call the police non-emergency line for each address. Your tenants have every right to report trespassing. Document everything. Screenshots, call logs, text messages. We'll need it." The police reports came in throughout the day, each one a separate micro-catastrophe for Marcus's real estate empire fantasy. Property 1. Warning issued to realtor, showing cancelled. Property 2. Realtor cited for trespassing, $500 fine. Property 3. Marcus arrested when he arrived mid-showing to smooth things over with the tenant, a retired police officer who took exception to strangers photographing his bedroom. Criminal trespass. Bail set at $15,000. Property 4. Prospective buyers filed complaint with real estate board about fraudulent listing. Property 5. Tenant retained attorney, filed restraining order against Marcus and Sharon from the gym. Property 6. Attorney-tenant documented everything, sent cease and desist letter within 4 hours. Threatened civil lawsuit for violation of quiet enjoyment. Marcus called me from county lockup at 3:47 p.m. I let it go to voicemail. Then I listened to it 3 times, each playback revealing new layers of panic in his voice. This is insane. I was trying to help you. The tenant at Heritage Street is a lunatic. He called the cops over nothing. Dad's going to bail me out, but you need to call off your tenants. They're ruining everything. We had buyers interested. Real buyers. Do you know how hard Sharon worked on those listings? I saved the voicemail. Then I called David. We proceed with full legal action, he said. Here's what we're filing. The ghost ledger isn't just financial accounting. It's the emotional cost spreadsheet no family balance sheet ever shows. 7 years ago, family barbecue. Marcus announces his new sales job, $65,000 base plus commission. Everyone toasts. I mention buying my first duplex. Mother, real estate is for people with money, sweetie. You should focus on finding a stable job. Cost, confidence, unrecoverable. 5 years ago, Christmas. Marcus buys parents a cruise with his bonus. I bring printouts showing Property 3's positive cash flow. Father, numbers on paper. Call us when you own something real. Cost, validation. Never refilled. 3 years ago, sister's wedding. Marcus gives toast about family success. Mentions his promotion, sister's boutique, parents' retirement fund. No mention of me. I'm seated at the kids' table despite being 32. Reception planner. Sorry, we organized by family status. Married, successful, etc. Cost, belonging. Written off as irrecoverable loss. 18 months ago, Thanksgiving. I arrive late from emergency maintenance call. Burst pipe at Lakeside Bungalow. Marcus, still playing landlord? When are you going to get a real career? I show him my LLC's annual statement. $48,000 net income. He glances at it for 3 seconds. Anyone can make money look good on paper. Cost, 7 years of trying. Balance, 0. I created an actual spreadsheet that night. Titled it The Ghost Ledger. Calculated not just missed moments but the compound interest of emotional investment that paid negative returns. The total wasn't in dollars. It was in years of my life spent believing their approval was mathematically inevitable if I just achieved enough. The legal process unfolded with the methodical precision of a system designed to protect property rights. Step 1. Evidence collection, February 15th to 18th. I organized everything into manila folders. 1 per property. Police reports, tenant statements, screenshots of Zillow listings with timestamps, phone logs showing my tenants' calls, photos of Marcus and Sharon conducting showings without authorization. David's paralegal, Jennifer, spent 6 hours creating a timeline document. Every action, every statement, every breach of my property rights. This is actually impressive documentation, Jennifer said, handing me the bound report. Most cases were scrambling for evidence. You have contemporaneous records of everything. Step 2. Criminal prosecution, February 19th to March 8th. The county prosecutor's office reviewed Marcus's case. Assistant DA Rebecca Winters called me directly. Miss Chin, your brother's case is straightforward. He committed criminal trespass at 6 separate properties. The fact that he believed he had authority is irrelevant. Property ownership is a matter of public record. Does he have any history of this behavior? I thought about 7 years of boundary violations. Define this behavior. She laughed, sharp and knowing. We'll proceed with prosecution. 3 counts of criminal trespass. The other 3 properties the tenants chose not to press charges. Each count carries up to 93 days in jail and $1,000 fine in Michigan. Marcus hired a defense attorney, Stephen Kowalski, who cost $8,500 in retainer fees. I know because my mother called, asking if I'd contribute to Marcus's legal defense since this whole thing is really your fault. I declined. Step 3. Civil action, March 1st to 15th. David filed a comprehensive civil lawsuit against Marcus, Sharon the realtor, and my parents as co-conspirators who'd participated in planning the fraudulent sales. The complaint detailed attempted conversion of property, 6 counts. Interference with tenant rights, 6 counts. Fraud, misrepresenting ownership to prospective buyers. Conspiracy, family dinner where sale was planned with witnesses. Intentional infliction of emotional distress. Damages sought, $180,000, tenant relocation costs, legal fees, loss of rental income during tenant disruption, punitive damages. Marcus's attorney filed a motion to dismiss, arguing Marcus had acted in good faith belief that I needed help managing the properties. The motion included an affidavit from my mother stating I'd always been irresponsible with money. Judge Patricia Morrison denied the motion in 11 lines. Defendants' subjective beliefs about plaintiff's competence do not override property law. Public records clearly show plaintiff as sole owner of all 6 properties. Motion denied. Step 4. Discovery March 15 to April 30. David requested all communications between family members about my properties. My parents' attorney tried to block it. Judge Morrison ordered production. The emails were revealing. 3 years of messages. Marcus to Mom, she's going to lose everything. We should start planning intervention. Dad to Marcus, talk to lawyer friend. If she's deemed financially incompetent, family can petition for conservatorship. Emma to family group chat. When this rental thing collapses, we should make sure she doesn't pull us down with her. Mom to all. Maybe if the properties got sold she'd finally settle down and find a husband. I read them in David's conference room, the afternoon sun cutting hard angles across the mahogany table. Jennifer brought me coffee, said nothing, just squeezed my shoulder. The origin moment was clear now. Father's living room, 2017. I'd just secured financing for the first duplex. Father said, real estate investing is for people with family money to fall back on. You don't have that safety net. You're going to fail and we can't bail you out. I remember the carpet's texture under my fingers, the way afternoon light hit his reading glasses, how final his voice sounded. That's when I understood, I would rely on no one. Their approval wasn't coming. I could either collapse under their expectations or build something so undeniable they'd be forced to confront their own narrative failure. I chose fortresses. Step 5. Mediation attempt May 15th. Court-ordered mediation. Mediator was a retired judge named Harold Brennan who'd seen everything twice. Marcus's attorney opened. My client acted out of genuine concern for his sister's welfare. David responded with the ghost ledger, property valuations, rental income statements, and equity calculations. Ms. Chin owns 6 properties worth $2.78 million with $2.1 million in equity. She generates $50,000 annual passive income. Define concern. My mother tried sentiment. We're family. Can't we work this out? I spoke for the first time in 6 hours. You plan to steal $2.1 million from me and you're asking about family? Silence. Long enough to hear the wall clock tick. 17 seconds. Mediation failed. Step 6. Trial June 20th to 22nd. Criminal trial came first. Prosecutor Winters presented surveillance footage from Property 3. Marcus letting himself and 4 prospective buyers into the fourplex while tenant Michael Rodriguez, the retired police officer, watched from his window and called 911. Marcus testified, I thought I was helping my sister. She's overwhelmed. Winters showed the jury my property management spreadsheet, maintenance logs, and financial statements. Does this look like someone who's overwhelmed? Tenant after tenant testified. Mrs. Patterson from Lakeside Bungalow. Miss Chin called me personally about the showing. Apologized. Reduced my rent that month. That's not incompetence. Verdict. Guilty on all 3 counts. Sentence. 180 days jail, 90 suspended, 3 years probation, $3,000 in fines, restitution to tenants totaling $8,400, and 200 hours community service. Civil trial followed in August. My parents' attorney argued they'd only discussed selling the properties, never actually participated. David presented the email chains, the family dinner where they'd calculated their shares, my mother's phone call to Sharon the realtor setting up the initial consultation. Judge Morrison's ruling was surgical. The The court finds defendants engaged in conspiracy to convert plaintiff's property. The fact that the scheme failed doesn't absolve them of intent. Judgment for plaintiff: $180,000 plus legal fees of $47,000. Step 7. Collection August-December. My parents' attorney filed for bankruptcy protection. David filed objection. Fraud-based judgments aren't dischargeable. Court agreed. Their house went into foreclosure October 3rd. The boat Dad bought in anticipation of his $350,000 share was repossessed by the marina. Marcus lost his sales job when the felony conviction came through. Emma's boutique closed after local press covered the story. Local families plot to steal daughter's real estate empire foiled by tenants. Sharon the realtor lost her license. The real estate board's decision was blunt. Licensee failed to verify ownership before listing properties. Gross negligence. License revoked. Step 8. Appeals denied January. Marcus's appeal argued, improper jury instruction. Michigan Court of Appeals took 45 days to issue a 2-page denial. Defendant's appeal lacks merit. Trial court properly instructed jury on criminal trespass elements. Defendant's belief in his authority is immaterial to ownership. My parents' civil appeal claimed excessive damages. Appeals court. Trial court's damage calculation was supported by evidence of actual losses, tenant disruption and emotional distress. Affirmed. All loopholes closed. 6 months later I stood in the Heritage Street fourplex, fresh paint drying on the walls. Tenant Michael Rodriguez was moving out, retirement relocation to Arizona. "You handled that well," he said, handing over the keys. "Most landlords would have blamed the tenants for causing trouble. You protected us." I'd reduced everyone's rent for 3 months after the incident. Not required. Right. The restraining orders remained permanent. I'd blocked all family numbers, emails and social media. Changed my address. Property 7 closed escrow in November. A small commercial building downtown. Property 8 was under contract. My phone buzzed. Property management alert. All 6 original properties 100% occupied, rents paid on time, maintenance reserve fully funded. The Ghost Ledger's final entry. February 14, 2024. Family planned to steal $2.1 million from me. Cost. Revealed their true character. Value. Priceless. I paid in 7 years of hope. They paid in everything. Revenge isn't rage. It's surviving dismissal so thoroughly that those who underestimated you are forced to watch your success from the outside, forever excluded from what they tried to steal. From the 6 fortresses I fought to protect and the 2 I've built since, my future begins now. No family to sabotage it. No approval to chase. Just properties, tenants, and the compound interest of investing in myself. The account is closed. The balance is 0. And I am finally in the black.